Hello everyone, this is Dr. N.Senthil Madasamy, Associate Professor Computer Science Engineering. Great pleasure for me to welcome you all for this. In this session, topic to be covered is lab requirements. At the end of Unit 3, the students will be able to explain the process of acquiring and documenting computer forensics evidence for investigation. At the end of this session, the students will be able to understand the cyber lab requirements. Now we will see about cyber lab requirements. The creation of computer forensics laboratory with all necessary equipment is an important part of evidence handling, acquisition and analysis. Moreover, there are important management considerations to be aware of. Although notable differences might exist between one computer forensics laboratory and another, there are still similarities in basic requirements and guidelines for forensics laboratories. This ensures that certain standards are maintained in terms of equipment and industry standards for utilizing the equipment. Many fields related to computer science and are benefits of standards to guide us. However, in computer forensics, standard practices do exist, and they are assessed and certified by an independent body known as American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors. We will discuss one by one of the following: American Society of Crime Laboratories Directors ASCLD, American Society of Crime Laboratories Directors Lab Accreditation Board ASCLD Lab, ASCLD Lab Guidelines for Forensics Laboratory Management Practices, and Scientific Working Group on Digital Evidence SWGDE. American Society of Crime Laboratory Directors ASCLD is a non-profit organization that provides a set of guidelines and standards for forensics labs. The organization not only promotes in forensics practices but also encourages innovation in forensics practitioner community. AICLD is not an accrediting body and should not be confused with AICLD/lab. More information can be found on their website at aicld.org. Society of Crime Laboratories Directors/Lab Accreditation Board ACLD/Lab was originally a committee within ACLD when it was created in 1981. Since 1982, however, it has been accrediting crime labs. In 1984, ACLD/Lab became a separate non-profit entity with its own board of directors. It currently certifies lab for federal, state and local agency as well as some crime labs based outside the US. The certification process of crime labs includes computer forensics labs. As an impartial entity, ACLD lab strives to maintain certain standards for forensics labs, including standards that govern the behavior and the practices of lab employees and their managers. In other words, those who work in forensics lab must be always mindful of law annually adhered to proper scientific practices. Moreover, ACLD/lab also promotes a code of ethics for lab staff and management. In ACLD/lab guidelines for forensics laboratory management practices, the managers are advised to act with integrity and create an environment of trust and honesty. The forensics laboratory should also have quality controls and maximize the use of laboratory resources in an efficient manner to effectively manage the laboratory works. The laboratory manager is also accountable for maintaining the health and safety of those who work in the lab. Moreover, maintaining the security of the laboratory, particularly with respect to access, is also the responsibility of the manager. The manager must also ensure that he hires highly qualified staff and also encourages research and continuous training, including staff certification. The following list summarizes the proper laboratory management practices as outlined by ACLD/lab. The managerial competence, integrity, quality, efficiency, productivity, meeting organizational expectation, health and safety, security, management information systems, qualifications, training, maintaining employee competency, staff development, environment, communication, supervision, fiscal, conflict of interest, response to public needs, professional staffing, recommendation and references, legal complaints, fiscal responsibility, accountability, discovery, work quality, accreditation, peer certification, peer organization, research ethics. Many law enforcement agencies strive to attain ACLD lab certification, but most never gain this certification. It might not always be necessary to realize this certification, but agencies should still try to adhere to many of the principles outlined by the ACLD lab, including maintaining best practices and industry protocols, proper documentation and training for lab personnel. Scientific Working Group on Digital Evidence (SWGDE) is a committee dedicated to sharing research and setting standards for investigators working with digital and multimedia evidence. The group was formed in 1998, subsequently began working with ACLD lab in 2000. Later in 2003, the field of digital evidence was added to the ACLD/lab accreditation program. Federal, state, and local law enforcement officers who don't have any commercial interest are invited to join as regular members. Additionally, educators and those from private sector can join through associate membership. SWDGE is a marvelous resource for computer forensics research on topics that range from investigation involving various operating systems to best practices in mobile phone examinations. In the summary, we learned about CyberLab requirements. I mentioned references here. I hope you found this video is clear about the topic I lecture. Thank you and have a pleasant day.